Phoenix here. So I was about to go to bed, but I just couldn't stop thinking about what I read earlier that I'll share with you in regards to the Idaho 4, the state of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. And in my mind, the information that we received today, I'm getting the download and I'm marinating on it, and I'm thinking, wow, so much information was given by the defense in regards to the alternate perpetrators. Now, with that being said, I want to show you and read it, and let's logically think about all this. Now, mind you, these documents are heavily redacted, excessively. So, part of the documents, the information I want us to follow is right down here. It says redacted at the top, page 3. And then it goes on to say, lived within walking distance of the crime scene. And then there's a 3 footnote, which I'm going to get to you. And we're familiar with the layout of the victim's home from prior social events. So these individuals were within walking distance of the crime scene. Now, how many people can we think about that we have talked about in the past that were within walking distance of the crime scene? I've got a handful of names. Then it goes on to say, well, perhaps this evidence could suggest an opportunity to commit the crime, which no doubt is an opportunity shared by dozens of others in the victim's social circles. Then Judge Hippler says, there is no compelling evidence that any of them had a motive to unalive the victims, much less physically harm them, or a means to do so. You have got to be freaking kidding me, Judge Hippler. There are enough people that have looked at the roommates, of friends, of ex-boyfriends, of possible rug activity, which that house has been known for, and you can't tell me that no one else had a stronger, most likely motive other than, because he was an incel and they were beautiful and he was rejected and he's a monster, as the media and the prosecution is claiming. There has got to be a better motive. What was his motive? What was Bryan Kohberger's motive? What was his motive? I still have not seen anything on what his motive is. What will be the opening statement in this trial on August 18th? What will it be? The monsters around this house did this, or some distant monster alleged did this? That's basically what they're saying. And they're saying they have each cooperated with law enforcement, providing DNA sample, fingerprints, and allowing searches as requested. Notably, lab testing has excluded their DNA taken from samples of the crime scene and victims. So 3 of them are now excluded their DNA. But whose DNA is still left that has not been tested? It says there were 3 male DNA. Oh, let's not forget about the glove or the blood on the handrail or all these other things. Why weren't those tested? Why? And obviously the 4th individual didn't know someone, did not know the victim, but had a passing connection to one of them while noticing her shopping at the store approximately 3 weeks prior to the homicide. He followed her briefly. Well, who was that? Who did this individual follow? Who? Because obviously he was tested and then eventually he was ruled out. We know who that name is now. But I want to get to the 3 footnote. It says, 3, the fact that these individuals lived within walking distance from the crime scene is not prohibitive, is not probative evidence given the perpetrator drove a vehicle to the crime scene. Further, none of these individuals drove a vehicle matching the description of the suspected unaliver. I think we've found a handful of these individuals that may have a similar car compared to BK's. I mean, has no one else got that yet? I'm going to put a list together. I'm going to put some pictures together. Make sure you like and follow for more. Be well.